I'm Chris Berman. Got a lot of games to cover. Let's get at it. In our first game this week, we had the Redskins decisively win by 17 points. The Dolphins lost this one, but will stay at number 2 in the AFC East. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. This guy will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 4 years, $1.1 million. This guy is going to find himself with a new club, and he'll be in a new tax bracket too. 4 years, $2.6 million.
In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Titans pick up win number 7. Charles Woodson stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. In the Queen City, Cincinnati, we had the Bengals get sent away with a 7-point loss. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Alan Ricard is probably the one that most leaps out at you. Tests at the stadium revealed a broken kneecap, so he'll be out for the rest of the season. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Keith Brooking will be on the sidelines for a while, so this defense will need to do some reshuffling in his absence. He's suffering from a stress fracture in his foot, and he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. Now, on to even bigger news, as you may have already heard. Warrick Dunn said he knew his season was over the second he went down. And indeed, his club will need to find someone to pick up the rushing slack. Now we'll move on to our top story of the day. Chad Johnson is going to find himself in street clothes for the time being, and that'll be a major blow to this club. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Chargers, Chiefs. Priest Holmes is in the backfield at the 37-yard line, gets the pitch, spins right there, whoop! And then at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown! The Chiefs win this one by the final score of 17-0. Well-dressed Amani Toomer nabbed 2 touchdown passes and helped his Giants beat the Eagles. Up at Lambeau Field, we had the Packers lose by just a single point. The Colts erupted for 400-plus offensive yards in their victory at Ford Field. The Seahawks won at home and will stay home for next week's game when they meet the Cowboys. The Saints won this contest but will stay at the second place in the NFC South. The Bears win yet again this week and keep their impressive streak alive. Up in historical New England, we had the Patriots losing by 13. Number 13 threw 3 strikes to the end zone and helped his Cardinals beat the Jets. Up in the HHH Metrodome, we had the Vikings get nipped by 3 points. And in our final game, we had the Panthers come away victorious. So let's change things up a bit and turn to a guy that's had his eye on the college game, and that's our own Mel Kiper Jr. He joins us now. Mel, your work never ends, I know. Believe me, I know better than anybody else. But it's never too early to start thinking about next year's draft, is it?
Never too early indeed. And now that, for the most part, the regular season in college football is behind us, we can really start looking back at the guys that have impressed me the most across college campuses this year. Player is someone I think of right away when I think of the best prospects in college football. 5'9", 245, out of Rice. And I'll tell you what, this guy has the potential to be someone that can really carry the load for an NFL ball club. A la perhaps someone like Jerome Bettis or Anthony Thomas. He at least has the potential to be that kind of back. Barton is another guy that's starting to make some noise with a terrific senior season. He was a virtual unknown coming into this year, but people are starting to project him to have a solid NFL career. I'm starting to jump on the bandwagon as well. So that'll do it for now, but you can guarantee that the big board is going to see a lot of risers and fallers between now and April.
So another week in the books here on ESPN, but what do you say we hand out a few game balls before we go? Here's my prime time players. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.